Hi, I am Captain Ben. During my seafaring career, I always thought that COLREGs, or also known as ROR,
has been written in a very legal and difficult to understand language. The purpose of this video is to make it systematically easy to understand. So before we begin with the rules, let us understand a little bit of history of COLREGs. Why was it necessary? Before the COLREGs, sailors mostly relied on custom of the sea, unwritten traditions passed down. For example, it was customary that when two sailing ships met, each would alter course to starboard, right, to avoid collision. Signals were often given by lanterns, bells, or flags, but there was no universal standard. No standards means confusion. Also, there was nothing to make someone accountable to understand who is at fault. As the number of ships at sea increased, the need to have a set of standard rules for ships to avoid collision also increased, and which in turn laid the foundation of what we call collision regulations, or COLREGs in short. Our goal is to make the COLREGs clear, simple, and easy to apply in real-life situations at sea. So keep watching, and by the end, you won't just know the rules of the road, you'll be confident in using them like a pro.
Any set rules always begin with a general explanation: where, how, and on whom to apply these rules.
Rule 1 is one of the most important rules in ROR. It tells us where and to whom the rules apply. It says, rules apply basically everywhere a vessel can sail, unless some special local regulations of government are in place. If a government of a country makes some special rules, it should be as close as possible to these rules, and warships and government ships are also expected to follow these rules. But they may be exempted if it interferes with their special duties. That is why when you approach a warship, it immediately warns on the VHF to keep clear.
This is Naval Vessel 5855, requesting your current heading and speed.
Because it may not be possible for a warship to comply rules at that time. If a collision happens between a warship and a merchant vessel,
brace for impact!
The merchant vessel is most likely to be held accountable. The actions taken by the ship's officers will be evaluated in a maritime court, and compliance to ROR will be a major factor in deciding the root cause and the accountability.
Not guilty.
The tricky question can be, does it apply in port at berth? Not everything, but the relevant section of the rules do apply in port at berth as well. Rule 2 is easy. It makes you accountable for collision. It makes it clear that there is no way you can escape. Master and the crew must follow the rules for collision avoidance and observe good seamanship. Owners may be held accountable to pay damages as per court rulings.
Rule also says, in some special cases to avoid dangers or due to some limitation, compliance to rules would not be possible.
In such cases, you must make departure from rules as necessary. As a duty officer, you must follow the rules when possible. If the rule will put your own vessel or the other vessel in greater danger, then you can make departure from rule as well. In the end, make a good choice and avoid collision. Rule 3 is very important because it gives us the meaning of keywords that appear again and again in the COLREGs. One of the most important words here is vessel. Now, most of us normally think of a vessel as just a ship, but in COLREGs, the meaning is much broader. A vessel is not only a ship, but also includes small boats and yachts, high-speed crafts, seaplanes when they are moving on the water, hovercrafts, which glide on a cushion of air, and even wings-in ground effect craft, which fly very close to the water's surface. Also, any other craft which is either used in transportation or capable of being used in transportation on water. So, whenever the rules say, "These rules apply to every vessel," they actually cover all these types of watercraft, not just traditional ships. If it floats, skims, or moves on water, COLREGs treat it as a vessel. A vessel needs some kind of power to propel it. If it is propelled by machinery, it is power-driven vessel. If the vessel is propelled purely by wind through sails, it is sailing vessel. If the vessel with sail also has machinery and using it, it will be considered a power-driven vessel. A fishing vessel is any ship using nets, lines, trawls, or other equipment that makes it hard for the ship to move around freely. But if a ship is just using trolling lines or any gear that does not restrict its ability to move, then it is not considered a fishing vessel under COLREGs. A seaplane is an aircraft that is designed to maneuver on water. Seaplanes are generally seen in island nations like Maldives and Caribbean for carrying limited number of passengers inter-island. A RAM, or Restricted Ability to Maneuver, vessel is the one which is busy doing a special job that makes it hard, or sometimes may be impossible, for it to turn or move out of the way of the other vessel. Examples of RAM vessels: a ship laying or picking up navigation buoys, cables, or pipelines. A dredger, or a ship doing underwater work. A ship engaged in replenishment or transferring cargo at sea. Not limited to these examples, there can be many other works that can severely restrict vessels' ability to maneuver at sea. Nature of her work are the key words. A vessel, being not under command, is not a comfortable situation for the ship captain when it cannot control its movements because of some exceptional situation. This means the vessel cannot move as the rules require, so other ships must take extra care around it. Some examples of NUC situation are engine failure, steering gear breakdown, total power blackout, rudder jammed, or machinery damage. This is important. Apart from the three conditions, I repeat, apart from these only three conditions, that is, vessel at anchor, vessel made fast to the shore, or vessel aground. Other than these three conditions, a vessel is always considered to be underway at sea. Because of this definition, a ship when stopped at sea will be considered underway. Also, when the ship is tied to tugboats before berthing, is also underway. Restricted visibility means a natural condition at sea when you are unable to see as clear as normally you would due to some natural causes like fog, rain, etc. Restricted visibility gives rise to navigational hazard, during which you would require extra precaution like increasing number of people keeping watch, or reduction of speed, as decided by the captain. Vessels are in sight of one another only when one can be observed visually by eyes from the other. This definition is important because many of the rules come into effect only when vessels can see each other with eyes, and not just by radar. Stay tuned for our next videos for next parts of Rules of Road. Meanwhile, subscribe to our channel and do not forget to click on the bell icon.